What's up, everybody? I think we're live now. How's it going? Yeah, cool. Oh, nice. Sorry, give me just a minute. Can everybody hear me okay? Hopefully it's working. There we go. Sweet. Nice. Well, happy Sunday, everyone. Thank you for joining in to watch another Evening Tea with Eskel. Welcome, Jennifer. Welcome, Caitlin, Gina, Amber, Jackie. Nice. We got a nice little crowd here right now. Heck yeah. Abigail's here. Welcome, Abigail. Yeah, I took a little bit to go live today because I was just thinking about everything. But I popped my popcorn and I had a really small lunch, so I figured having some snacks would be super nice. Let me see here. I'm just gonna make sure it's on live chat instead of top chat. Welcome, Olivia. Glad to have you all here. I don't know if I'm gonna be standing or sitting this time, but today's live's not gonna be super long. I don't know. Today, like, I don't know. I have a lot that I want to say, but I don't want to say too much because my mom taught me that if you don't have anything nice to say, to not say anything at all. But my mom's not here right now, so we'll see how it goes. But welcome, Flinker, Mary, Jacob Swanson. Welcome. Glad to have you on. It's been a while, dude. I hope you're doing okay. You're back and good as new. That's awesome. Sweet. All right. Well. Nice. Yeah, everyone's saying welcome back, Jacob. It's awesome to have you on. That's cool. Hopefully Amanda gets on here too. We basically had to fight to see who was gonna go first today. I'm just kidding. We don't fight, but she's hanging out with Cammie, so I'm so jealous. But hopefully she gets on here and joins the discussion. Thank you, Denise. Aw, that's so nice of you. Sweet. Yeah, everyone's glad to hear that you're doing good, Jacob. I saw your post of you in the hospital, and I was like, what's going on? But I'm glad you got back to me. Let me know. You kind of told me most of the story, so that was cool. But yeah, he accidentally jumped off the freeway overpass this last weekend. So yeah, Jacob's had a wild week. Let's just put it at that. Please don't fight on live. Yeah, I was just kidding. Amanda and I don't fight. Even when we were little, I'm sure we had little quarrels when we were younger, but nothing crazy, man. It was wild. But anyways, yeah, today I want to talk a little bit about my relationship with my father. But I don't want to talk very much on it. I'm just going to touch on it briefly, and then I'm actually really interested to discuss with you guys about the new Netflix series, Keep Sweet, Pray, and Obey, because I watched episode 1 last night, and it caught my attention for sure. But yeah, anyways, I hope you all are having a good Father's Day. I posted a lot of things that were kind of, well, I only posted 2 things, but I I don't have the best relationship with my dad, but I like to at least tell myself that it's probably because he just does whatever his brothers say, and that's up to him. That's his prerogative. I feel like I can't control his life, so he's gonna be who he's gonna be. And the order focuses so much on loyalty that for him to, have a good standing amongst the leaders of the order there, he really has to be loyal to them. He has to do everything that they tell him to, and cutting me out of his life is a part of him being loyal to them, and it kind of sucks, but um, I don't know. It is what it is, and I feel like I have plenty of bad things that I could say about my dad, but I I don't know. I don't want to focus so much on that. I don't want to even kind of give him the time of day and spend all my time talking about him, but I I do want to at least say that I wish that he could have seen my worth, and I just have to internalize it. Like, he has his other objectives, he has his other uh, the life that he's living, kind of for his brothers or for the order or however he explains it. Then he's just gonna do that, and I'm just gonna move on with my life and not let that. Like, I don't want to let his decisions or his view of me change who I am. I'm still gonna be the best that I can be and focus on doing better and becoming better. And a lot of the times when I don't know, I think about it a lot, obviously, because I feel like, especially like today, seeing all the posts about everyone saying Happy Father's Day, like I love you and miss you and all this stuff, and I was looking at them like, ew. I'm just kidding. But like, I can't help but at least think about it. But a lot of the times when I like think really deep on it, I come to realize that like it's I don't know. I'm going to take whatever I can from it. I don't have to let it affect me. And honestly, like, my life is pretty good. I feel like no matter what people might say or what people I can and can't keep relationships with, I'm still able to follow my dreams. I'm still able to use my free agency to create a wonderful life. And so that's what I'm going to do. And like yeah, when I think about it a lot, I feel like for me, I did have to like kind of go through the childhood of being like neglected by my father and the abuse that I went through and things like that. But I mean, like, I feel like I'm a very strong person, and I've said this in many episodes in the past that I when when I view the childhood that I have and how hard it was and any of the crazy things I went through, I always think about how I'm a strong enough person to handle it, and I'm not going to let it bother me and stuff like that. And I really think like I don't have to kind of let that control my life. And I don't feel like I even need necessarily to like get mad at my dad or like be like, what the heck, or, get upset at him. Because I feel like even though I had to go through those stressful things, and I do kind of feel like a lot of it is my dad's fault and whatnot, but it's like when I picture his life, I imagine it being much harder. And it's like, I had to take the beating and have a little bit of a neglectful father, but he has to live his entire life as an abuser. And I feel like that would be so much harder for me to kind of live my life knowing that I couldn't see the true potential in my son, or that I was the cause or the effect of missing out on like precious childhood memories and moments and stuff like that. Um, and yeah, I just feel like it's got to be hard enough for him already, and so I don't think it's worth using my time and my energy trying to I don't know, say anything that might make me feel better, or like trying to, I don't know, hurt his feelings or anything like that. I just want to move on and not worry about it, and just kind of hope that I can be a better father in the future. But anyways, that to the side, I want to get that off my chest, get it out there, put it in a little box. I'm going to put it on a shelf and hopefully never open it up again. Unless maybe in therapy I talk about it sometimes. But anyways, we don't need to turn this into a therapy session. So, but I do want to talk a little bit about the movie Keep Sweet, Pray, and Obey. I'm really curious how many of you guys have seen it. I stayed up super late last night watching more of it because it just blew my mind. And it's just kind of crazy. I love that they did such a good job at kind of showing how normalized the crazy things are that they do in the FLDS to the FLDS people. And so I don't know, it really hit me hard. I can't believe some of the things that they've gone through. Welcome, Amanda. Heck yeah. Glad to have you. Hey, Eskel. Hey, Amanda. So some of you guys have seen it. Keep sweet, pray, and obey. I think it's so funny that they focus so much on that obey aspect and how like being loyal to your husband or to your father, to the men in the group is such a big deal. And it just, I can't help but be reminded of that. That's so much like it was in the order. In the order, they have the ABC order standards or whatever, and the order standard for L used to be for love, but they changed that. They changed it to loyalty because I guess that's more important or something. That's maybe something that they prioritize more. But we love you, Esco. I love you, Esco. We just gotta build each other up. Thanks, Jacob. That's so true, and that's why I don't want to dwell and like focus so much on my the lack of my relationship with my father. I just want to put it behind me and learn from it and move on. Really, that's what my goal is. Amber, if you haven't seen it yet, you got to. It's on Netflix, and they did a really good job. It's a little bit brutal. A lot of it is definitely like very sad and traumatizing, but they share a lot of really good points. And I mostly watch it to be able to kind of think of like the things that stand out and compare the FLDS to the order, notice a lot of the similarities and the differences too, because like it blew my mind. Like I can't even imagine what it would be like truly believing that the prophet could never die, you know? When they only had one prophet for the longest time, and so many of the true like hardcore dedicated members thought that he would not die like ever. And so then for them to watch him die, it's just crazy. It's just, I don't know. It just stuck out to me a lot. It was wild. Olivia got physically sick watching Keep Sweet. Yeah, a lot of people have described that to me. It's very hard to watch, and it's like, I don't know, brings back a lot of bad memories and stuff like that. But but I don't know, if there's anything good to take away from it, I feel like it's important to know that this stuff is a reality, especially like it blows my mind that we are in the year 2022 and things like this is still going on. So many people watch Escaping Polygamy or hear about polygamous cults and stuff, and they think, oh, that's of the past. Yeah, that was the crazy part of history or whatever. But it's like, no, you guys, it's still going on. I would, if it was over, if nothing was happening anymore, I would love to put that inside of a box and put it on the shelf and just put it in the past. Like mark it as a part of history and it's over, and to be glad that we're done with it. But the fact that it's still happening to this day, I feel like a little bit obligated to kind of like address it and bring it up and like make it more well known, in hopes that not only that us as a people can possibly have a say in like helping the people to be able to, just in any way that we can to be able to help them, but also so that the people from those groups, from the order, from the FLDS, any type of cult that they're trying to get away, that they can see people talk about it and kind of, I guess, what's the word for it? Like explain why that's so crazy, or give them another way of like thinking of it, or like another perspective on it. Because I personally feel like the only way people truly believe and are hardcore dedicated followers of cults like that is when they have been in it their entire life. That's because when you're little, you'll believe anything. And that is I feel like the key step or part of having such dedicated members to something that is just so crazy and just wild. But if you've been raised and taught that your entire life, then it just makes sense. And to me, I feel like that's the only way you can have so many people that are just so dedicated to it. The money thing, insane amounts of money that the leaders took from them. Same in the order. Exactly, Casey. There was just so many similarities that I'm like, I wanted to be like, all these order members, go and watch this right now. Like, you're going to be shocked at how similar it is to the order. And it's like, order members, a lot of the time, that we would always say, oh, the FLDS is crazier than us. We're nothing like the FLDS. But if you watch their members and the way that the members talk about their prophet and describe the way that they teach and kind of like manipulate, try to convince all of the members of specific things, then it hits close to home. It feels a lot like it did back in the order. I was mad at Nicole. Sorry guys, I'm trying to go through all these comments. Hello everybody. Welcome Ken. Welcome. Yeah, some of those episodes were really hard to watch. Yeah, a lot of them are very emotional too. It's pretty wild. Amanda, I saw your post today about wishing your mother a happy Father's Day. Aw, absolutely beautiful. She did amazing considering the circumstances. We can make a culty crew rule, no more Father's Day. I like the support, Olivia, but I appreciate the righteous and like the good fathers that are out there. Even though I don't feel like I got lucky enough to have that personal and like good relationship with a father, I know that there's some people out there that do, and it's like I just hope that they treasure that, you know. I hope that they see the value in that, and I'm sure a lot of people love Father's Day. For me and my sisters, we probably are gonna we like the idea of, instead of a Father's Day, we'll turn it into like another siblings day and just focus on each other and just try to like support and encourage and uplift one another. I think that's really cool because I love them a ton and I feel like we've always been there for each other, so I like that idea. Oh, Amanda says, thank you, Sarah. Today has been weird and emotional. LOL, I am still in my nightgown and it is 3:30 Vegas time, but your kind words are giving me life today. Nice. Aw. Jacob, you are amazing and such a wise guy. That's so true. Amanda, I have those days too. It's okay. It's okay, hun. Amanda, I feel really off this whole weekend too. It's a hard time of the year. Definitely. Olivia Cartwright trying to convince us it's a holiday for us by giving herself endless amounts of wardrobes. Nice. Always look forward to Sundays with Amanda and Eskel. Everyone say Happy Father's Day to, oh, I don't know who that is, but thank you. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Nice. Sweet. Awesome. Well, a couple of the things that really stood out to me from Keep Sweet and Obey. No, Keep Sweet, Pray, and Obey, I think is what it was called. A lot of people just call it Keep Sweet. But I couldn't help, when I was watching the first episode, it hit me really hard when the girl, she said, and I'm probably not quoting it completely right, but she was talking about how there were times where it was really good and like peaceful and it seemed super spiritual and great until it just wasn't. And I love the way that she like touched on that and was very emotional about it, because there's so many order members that are like, it can't be wrong. It has to be right because I had this good memory, or I had this good moment, or something good was coming from it. And it's so true that there are good moments everywhere. Anywhere you go, especially children, man. Childlike faith, I believe kids can enjoy life and have like these joyful and uplifting experiences no matter where they are. Because kids are just so good at being positive. Kids just find a way to find the light and like just to be joyful and happy and just make fun out of anything. I literally, Amanda, you'll remember this. We would literally just play in the mud and take mud baths and it was the funnest time ever, you know. And I think that's why it doesn't matter so much if you're from like a poor family or a rich family. When you're a kid, you have good memories, and there's so many things that you remember just making the most of what you have, and kids are the best of that. And so I really like it. It resonated with me a lot when she said that, because even in the FLDS, this crazy cult that so many people look into, and it just blows our minds that they are still in existence to this day, and they still have good moments. They still see positivity and like find the good in the crazy situations that they're in. And it's so true. You can do that. There's always ways and opportunities to look at that, but it doesn't excuse all of the problems that are going on, and just all of the crazy things. Sorry, hold on. It was kind of funny too that they kind of like, obviously plural marriage is like a big part of it, and a lot of the people like address plural marriage and talk about polygamy, and the members of the FLDS talk about how polygamy is such a blessing, and they saw it as a great honor and an opportunity. But they how did they do? They basically acknowledged that polygamy, as crazy as it wasn't the core problem. Polygamy is weird and crazy, and like a lot of people need to be born and raised into it to just go along with it and think that it's a great thing. But even then, polygamy was not the worst thing about the cult. That was not the biggest problem. And it may be like what leads to a lot of the problems, and I believe it's a big factor that leads to all of these other things. But they said that polygamy wasn't the core of what all the problems were. It was the fact that within the organizations, with giving the men and the fathers and the leaders so much power and control, then the things that they did with that were the even bigger problems. Those were the core issues, and just basically how people, they go crazy when they have so much power. And they really did. They talk about how they treated a lot of the guys, like a lot of the fathers and the leaders, like as in if they were gods. Like they could control and do anything that they said was right and would go, and like you can't question them and stuff like that. And I feel like a lot of that power's got to go to their heads, and clearly it did. And there's a lot of issues that come from that. And like, there's just so much stuff, you guys. It was crazy. When you give someone that much power, it's just beyond what I feel like. I had to kind of put myself into their shoes to try and fully understand it, because even with their prophet, like their prophet could not be wrong. That was one of the things that blew my mind, because even with me growing up in the order, like I saw this idea of a prophet, like, oh, he's this great man of God, but like he's still human, like he can still make mistakes, like he can trip on the stairs, he can fall, or like do things that he's not always going to be perfect 100% of the time. But I feel like in the FLDS, and they really showed how deeply they thought that their prophet was God, basically. They thought that he couldn't die. They thought that everything that he said had to be true. And I thought, to me, it was so funny, because he prophesied that like something about Salt Lake City being like burnt to the ground or whatever. So he had all of the people move down to Short Creek, and down like in southern Utah or whatever. And they all go and move down there, and they're waiting for Salt Lake City to burn to the ground, and it never does. And they don't think, oh, our prophet was wrong. They literally just assume, oh, it's going to come later, or God blessed us with more time. And the prophet just came up with some excuse, and they were just all like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. So it's like, he literally could not be wrong. Like, that kind of power is just so insane, And for people to truly believe that and like give that much power to them, because they talked a lot. It's so fascinating how the prophet was smart and like very manipulative and strategic in the things that he did, but the people gave him a lot of that power. He talked about how he used the woman to kind of like talk him up and say good things about him, make him sound so great and all this stuff. And he used the men, like using his like leverage or whatever he had, to convince the men to follow him and kind of give him the power and let him be in the prophet's seat, to have the say in everything, to have all the control, and just, yeah, to have all of that power. And it was crazy, because, yeah, it's not necessarily just one man having being so charismatic and so like he can do anything. It's the fact that he was able to use the people around him to benefit him and to keep control and to just have all that power and stuff. Oh, it was crazy. One of the craziest takeaways from the Keep Sweet document for me is that Warren Jeffs was prophet for only 4 years before he was arrested. He did all that damage in only 4 years. Yeah, that is crazy. And it's interesting too, because I was like, I guess I pictured the FLDS like way bigger than it is. But they were talking about how it's pretty similar size to the order. They estimated a few times close to like 10,000 people. They did. I forgot what time frame they said that was in. It might have grown since then or whatever, but roughly around the same size, not like super massive. And so for all of the things that he was able to do and have so much influence and control over them, it is crazy that he was able to do all that in that short amount of time. I think it's cool that you've built up a fan base to talk about this. Yeah, I think it's really nice to be able to have discussions like this and to talk with people. And kind of like for me, it's a little bit of a therapy session, getting it off my chest, like really thinking about everything and saying it out loud helps a ton. And being able to see you guys' like responses to it all, I feel like it's been awesome for me. That's why I love doing this. Even today, I kind of didn't feel like going live, but I was like, if I didn't go live today, it would have been the first time in 18 weeks, you guys. 18 weeks. I've been doing this for a long time. For me, that's good. That's pretty consistent. And I'm not the best at doing that. So I'm proud of myself for that. And 18, man, I should have talked about like when I was 18, because sometimes I'll like post a picture of like the year for whatever live it is, like the 16th or 17th or whatever. I probably don't have a ton of pictures of me when I was 18 because that is right when I left the order. I literally left 2 days after my 18th birthday because then there wouldn't be as many like legal issues and stuff like that. And it gave me a lot of time because I felt like I wanted to leave around 16, 17, but legal issues would have made it very hard and stuff like that. So I ended up staying till I was 18 and I just saved up money and prepared and just got more things ready and stuff like that. But 18 definitely was a crazy year in my life. That was probably one of the years where I had to do the most self-reflection and had to figure out my life and I just was kind of like all over the place. But I mean, I made it here, so I'm glad that I did it. I do have to thank my sisters a ton for that. I feel like they're always there for me, and I love that about it. But it's like even though they were there for me and I knew that they cared a lot about me, I still had to do my own self-reflection. I went out on my own for the longest time. I had to figure it out, and it was just awesome knowing that I had them to support me and to help me if I needed them to. But I didn't want to like lean on them or like become a crutch or anything like that. It just was awesome knowing that I had them there whenever I needed them, and that helps a ton. Even that cop they spoke to who defended everything. Rachel Jeffs is such a strong woman. So glad she took back her power and agency. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so crazy. Seeing what really the parts that grossed me out the most is seeing those pictures of the little girls kissing the like 60-year-old prophet and stuff. I was like, that's crazy. Oh my goodness. I will let you know if I can get into this book. I have 2 more I want to get. I can never get into reading. I'm trying. Denise, Fred did pass away. I have left a group. I am on one taking... Oh, sorry, guys. Do any of you wonder what the women's voices would be like today? They spoke on a high pitch and really soft tone. I don't know. That's interesting. Oh, welcome, Dylan. Welcome. Glad you can make it. Yeah, I wonder what the woman went through, because even in a part of the show, then the girl herself that married the prophet, and she was like his 20th wife or 23rd wife or something like that, and she was like, just she was kind of shocked by it, but she went into it like, oh, I just want to be married so bad. They even called it like, what is it, committing themselves to the Lord or something like that. And it's basically the only way a woman can do that fully, according to them, is to get married. So she just wanted to get married so bad, and they go to the prophet like, who can she marry? And he straight up says, well, will you marry me? And like the way she describes it just shows like how like committed she was to the prophet. And even though that was so crazy to her, she was just like, yeah, okay, like I'm supposed to get married, like okay, if that's what the prophet says, then it must be. And they just did it, you know? It's like such blind obedience. And I just can't help to relate that to a lot of the things that the order does all the time. But I have heard the tape of him and his 12-year-old wife that will haunt me till my dying day. Yeah, I was surprised at how much documentation they have of like Warren Jeffs singing that song, like he was performing a song, and they had the recording of it. They had a lot of recordings of the conversations that went on and stuff. It's like, that was really surprising. It was pretty wild. Me too, Denise. On work break, welcome. No, he got life without parole. Yeah, Warren Jeffs, he's pretty much going to be in jail for life. And a lot of his members talk about how he's going to get out, he's going to be free, and he's going to lead them again. I wonder who's in control right now, because Warren Jeffs was like trying really hard to not let anyone else be considered the prophet or not give so much power to someone else, because he still wanted to get out of jail and come back and like lead the people. So, I mean, I should do more research, but from what it sounds like is it's a lot more chaotic right now. A lot of people don't know what to believe, and they're just following some of the people that were really close to Warren Jeffs. And supposedly he's still trying to somewhat lead them from within jail with the messages that he can still give them and whatnot. Everything about Warren Jeffs is just creepy, right? It's funny because even order members will say like, wow, Warren Jeffs is insane. Like he's a crazy creep. He's just the worst, and that the whole FLDS is insane and crazy. And they talk about it almost from like third person, and they don't see how the order like relates to it. It's kind of funny to me. But even when I've had conversations with them, and I try to explain like to a lot of us who have been away from the order and just living regular lives, we look at the order and it's just as crazy. Like the comparison of how crazy the order is to our lives is like how they view the FLDS being so different and crazy compared to theirs. And so it's just, I don't know, but it's hard to explain. I've talked about this so many times. Everyone sees their own truth. Everyone sees from their own perspective. So it's like, I don't know. It's hard to help somebody to see it the same way that you see it, basically. But the only way to do that is to talk about it, though, to continue to share and like try your best to explain. And I'm not the best spokesperson. I say that all the time. So all I can do is just share from my perspective. And I think spending the time with them, having the discussion with them, I like to think that it is helpful, and hopefully it makes them think about everything. But who knows? The last episode when the investigators entered the vault and found the altar bed. Yeah, that was haunting for sure. I just see stuff like that. I have to compose myself because a lot of my like instant response reaction is to just laugh and like pretend it's a joke, kind of like put it in third person, like as in if it's not real. Because a lot of the times that's just what my mind wants to do. It doesn't want to believe it. It wants to pretend like it's fake. It's some sort of a joke someone's pulling. And it's like, I have to kind of stop myself and like compose myself. Otherwise, I just kind of laugh at stuff when it's like very inappropriate to laugh. And I know it's like super serious stuff, but my body just wants to do that because it doesn't want to think it's real. And it's just crazy. Stuff like that. When I watch it, I cringe a lot and I feel so bad because a lot of people won't understand this, but I laugh a lot of the times. And I think it's kind of like my own, maybe like a defense mechanism or something, because if I don't laugh, then I'm gonna cry. And for some reason, I feel like I can't cry or whatever. And I do cry. I'll admit, like, I'm a worse when it comes to a lot of stuff and I get super emotional, but my body doesn't seem to like it and it tries to avoid it all the time because it just doesn't like being sad. And that makes sense to me, but yeah, a lot of people don't understand. So if I laugh at something and it seems offensive, you guys, I don't mean it. I'm not just like disregarding what's being said or anything like that. It's just sometimes I do that by mistake. I wonder if Warren Jeffs ever questioned his religion and is pissed. Yeah. That's an interesting question because I think about that with my dad a lot of the times because I wonder if like one of the reasons that he'll never even consider that the order could be wrong is because if he started questioning and wondering, then he might kind of know that like his testimony isn't like super solid, and if he starts exploring different ideas or different possibilities, then maybe, just maybe, he'll start realizing that something could be wrong and he can't even fathom the possibility of that. So he has to kind of just not ever even question it, not even like veer whatsoever. He has to be completely 100% sticking to everything that he feels is right and never like veer at all. Otherwise it gets too either depressing or it can just make him question too many things. And I feel like, I don't know, it's different for everyone, but I feel like it is not very hard to start questioning things and seeing a lot of the issues and problems. And I'm not saying that, because here's the thing, I want order members to understand that I'm not trying to be biased. I'm not trying to be like, oh, the order's so obviously wrong, yada yada, whatever. It's like, from even if I was still in the order and I had an order's perspective and mindset, it would not be hard to see the problems that the order has. And of course, if I was a dedicated order member, I wouldn't just be like, oh, that makes the order wrong. No, I'd be like, well, we need to fix these things. We're the kingdom of God. We need to do better. Like, we can still make mistakes. We're going to do better and this and that. But my point is that it's not hard to see a lot of the flaws and see a lot of the issues. And the reason why I feel like it's kind of a losing game is because if there really are truly righteous people in the order, a lot of the times they're the ones that get taken advantage of. And even if you do try and do whatever you can to supposedly make the order the kingdom of God that it's supposed to be, I feel like without the leaders like having that same perspective and like working together with them, there's nothing you can do because the leaders have all the power. It's very much like a pyramid, and the one at the top is in control of everything. Or maybe not the one at the top, but like the people at the top, you know, the 5 brothers or whatever. But I don't know, some people, especially if you're a hardcore dedicated order member, you hope for the best and you believe that it's right. So you just have to assume that everything's going to be fixed and work out in the end. And it's tough because I feel like a lot of those people are going to have the hardest time. He has appointed male relatives to rule, but they still come to visitation to get new revelations. He used to video call them too. Exactly. You're right, Denise. That's a part of basically how he's still trying to be in control and stuff like that. That's so wild. You're good, Eskel. Thank you for sharing your perspective. Oh, thanks, Sarah. Whoa, Dylan, do you still have your job? That's cool. I thought that you had went from one to another, but that's cool that you're still working there. Okay, sorry, I'm back. Was just checking out your Insta story, Eskel. Did you like it, Jacob? I worked hard on those. I obsess over the songs, man. I obsess a little bit over the pictures, but today I just got lucky. My pictures turned out so great, and I only had to take a few of them. But for the songs, I'm always going through so many songs. I a little bit wanted it to be a song, maybe like, I guess I just wanted it to be a little bit more emotional today. Whereas a lot of the other days, I just love like exciting, upbeat, like good beat music. And I take forever finding the right song to put on those posts, you guys. It's so fun though. I love music, and so I don't mind taking my time on it. Life isn't even enough time for him. Yeah, Emma, a lot of people agree with you. And I think, like, I'm pretty sure his sentence is longer than life because it's, I don't know, someone was telling me about how he's like, how old is he? I can't remember, but he's like 50 or 60 and he's got like 40 years or something. So it would be like beyond any life expectancy he could possibly have and some. So it's like technically it is longer than life for him, but I'm the same, Eskel. I laugh when things are uncomfortable. Yeah, it's a bad habit, and I've noticed it happen in my life a lot. I've gotten a lot better at controlling it, but because I've been working so hard on controlling it, I've noticed it more. And even like just at work, even when someone's like really upset or something crazy is going on, and it's like all I want to do is laugh for some reason, and it's like this is the worst situation possible to laugh, but that's all that my body wants to do. I don't know why. It's so weird to me. Eskel, that is just a coping mechanism you developed growing up in abuse in the order. That's very possible because I feel like a lot of the times I live in my own reality. You know, I don't like um, what's happening around me. I don't like the reality, so I just make it something different. And I feel like that's a powerful mind trick because then you can kind of go through anything and still be okay. um, Oh, that makes sense. Exactly. Good explanation. They don't want to be disappointed that they've been duped. Because I even think about it and like, I hate doing this, especially, man, after watching the show, it's like, I don't want to ever give people that are taking advantage of other people or that are leading a cult, I don't want to ever give them the benefit of the doubt. But I mean, it's just a teeny bit. I have to at least somewhat when I like try to see from their perspective or try to understand them. It's like, it sucks. And I think it's a horrible thing that a lot of them are doing, but there has to be some people that are like, actually good people in that group. And I think they're the ones that, keep it together. They're the ones that allow it to even function the way that it is. And that's what breaks my heart the most, knowing that there really are good people in this horrible organization and they're going to suffer, and it sucks. But man. Don't today be a reminder of what we lost. Let it be a reminder of the lessons we learned, and let's be thankful it was us instead of someone else. Yeah, that's true. That's how I used to feel about the neglect or the abuse that I got. I'd be like, well, at least I'm taking it rather than someone else that might be feeling this pain or having to go through this hard situation. But then it's like, it just would suck so bad when you see it happen to your other siblings or other people. And when you just feel hopeless and like you can't help them. Oh, there you go, Russ. Yeah, so Russ said Warren got life plus 20 years. So yeah, he's gonna be there his whole life. But I'm thankful that others got what I always wanted, and it makes me happy to see some get something I always wanted. There you go. See, that's the way to be positive, and that's why I think you can't just like shut down Father's Day, because there are people that have good fathers, and it's great. But a lot of the times, fathers look like they're good fathers because their kids have really good moms, and I feel like that is so true. I wonder if any of the men who drove the kids over the state borders will be prosecuted for the trafficking. Yeah, that's another thing, you guys. It's like, it's not just polygamous cults that are having all these issues. Like, it blows my mind that there's still sex trafficking. And I heard that even here in Utah, they were doing like a big investigation because it was just happening like more than normal or something like that. And that's crazy. I don't know. Like I said, I try to pretend like I live in a better world than it is, and I hate thinking that stuff like that still happens, and it sucks because we have to address it if we want things to get better and want to kind of like shut down things like that. But then it sucks so bad having to admit that things like this are still going on, and it's like I thought we were doing better, you know. I love all you guys, and things would have been so much harder without all of you. Aw, that's so true. Heck yeah. Some of them that were young when they were taken away from their parents are going to suffer for the rest of their lives. It really made the moms be against the government. The If the FLDS are still not allowed to get married or have children, the group will eventually die out. That's true, but aren't they still having kids though? Are they stopping that? Jacob, you're awesome. We just recognized that like we did with Eskel and Amanda. Aw. Oh, see you, Dylan. Dylan says he has to head back to work. Good luck. I don't think he cares because he knows he will never get out. If he can't have kids, no one can. Oh, you guys are probably talking about how Warren Jeffs like said a revelation or like a commandment or something for them to not have kids. That's true. I remember hearing about that, but I also heard that a lot of them aren't like listening to that, or they, what did they say? I don't know. I guess I need to do more research on that. I'm not sure, but I bet a lot of them still are having kids, though. That would be my guess. Yes, moms are important. That's why I loved Amanda's message today. Yeah, that was a really good one, Amanda. Dylan Porter, have a good one, man. Have some fun tonight after work. Nice. Caitlin, he's so sick. I had heard maybe from Sam and Melissa that he wouldn't let anyone marry or have sex. Okay. Dang. There are no marriages and no children allowed unless permission and impregnation by the chosen one or two. Oh yeah, I heard about that. They're only letting certain people try to have the kids or something like that. That is crazy. Most of the FLDS are no longer following Warren. Yeah, that's what I would imagine. When he went to jail, I wouldn't be surprised if it kind of like split off, you know? Some of them started doing their own thing. Denise, that's so gross. Ugh. It's amazing how Short Creek is thriving again. I have been watching this for almost 20 years. Yeah, it's wild. I wonder like at what rate they're growing at. Because I'm curious to know like which group is bigger between the FLDS and the Order. In my head it seems like the FLDS is much bigger, but maybe it's just because of they've done like all the things that are talked about with them or something. But LOL, good luck with that, Warren Jeffs. The reason he's in prison is he's a super narcissistic. Yeah, I feel like you would have to be to kind of like take yourself out of the situation and be willing and able to like manipulate the people and to have all this control and power and to marry all of those people and just to do all the crazy things that he did. I feel like he had to kind of not be all the way there, or at least like what's the word? I don't know. Just basically convince himself of something different than what was actually happening. Would love for you and Sam to have a convo about how things were growing up for boys between the Order and the FLDS. Yes, I agree with you 100%. I want to do a collab with them. I messaged them on one of their videos. I should just get the direct contact information through my sister, but it's always hard to make the connection and like reach out to them and get them to notice me. But yeah, I want to do that. That would be so cool. Didn't he ban any marriages happening without him there? I don't No, Emma, I don't think so, because I think there's certain people that are still somewhat in control and they're like regulating the marriages or whatever. FLDS numbers are lower than the order now. Okay, that's good to know, Denise. Carolyn Jessup was one of the first to write a book and speak up, so many of them really hated her early on. Can you guys imagine that? I feel like that would be hard to be the first one. You know, can you imagine before there was like a support group for people that leave, if you were the first one ever to kind of like stand up against this huge cult, this cult that you were a part of, that was basically your whole world and your life, and to be one of the first ones to like go your separate way and to kind of like just go against that, being the first one would have to be so hard, because you don't have other people, you don't have people's examples that have done it to learn from, you don't have people to turn to get advice and help. You're just figuring it all out on your own. I think that's so wild. And that's why I have so much respect for the first ones that have left the order. And I see that, like, Amanda is that too. Amanda's one of the first ones to start like sharing her story and to really like address the brutal truth about the order. And I can imagine how hard that would be. It's kind of crazy. And my older sister Cami, I have to give her credit, because all of my siblings looked to her and like knew that she was like this really strong, powerful, independent woman. And I always saw her as this great example, like this awesome woman that like could do anything basically. And she like paved the way, and she knew what she wanted and she went for it. And she was just always like that. And I love that about her, and I feel like I've learned a ton from her. So she's awesome. I love her. Yes, love Sam and his wife. Their videos are so neat and informative. Yeah, it's awesome. And yeah, they talk about a lot of similar things, and I feel like there would be so many things that we could connect on through the similarities, and then it would be fascinating to know all of the difference. Because I still, to this day, I can't get over how they truly thought the prophet wasn't going to die. And that's just something that was super unique and different, you know? It's just, there's always going to be those differences. Eskel, my guess is that the order is bigger because Warren Jeffs has stopped all marriages because he can't take any marriages. Also, the birth rate is lower. That's a good point, Danielle. You think Paul wouldn't pull the same thing if he went to prison? I could 100% see him ban things if he couldn't be in charge. Maybe, yeah. I could see that happening, but I also feel like Paul, especially in this older time of his life, how he's getting older, he is kind of like delegating the work to other people a lot. So I don't know. I at least in my head, I picture Warren Jeffs being more of like not trusting everyone. He has to be in control. He wants everything. Whereas Paul, I kind of imagine him being more like, hey, you take care of this work, you take care of that, like wanting to delegate it so that he didn't have to worry so much or whatnot. But I don't know. That's just how I picture it. I don't know what the reality is, but I'm sure it would be crazy. Eskel, definitely reach out through different means of communicating. There was a crazy FLDS in the comments section that would having been distracting away from your comment. Oh, really? Okay. I didn't even notice that. I did appreciate you, Denise, when I commented on their video and was like, hey, we should do a collab. Is there any way we can meet up or whatever? And then Denise, I think you like thumbed up it or whatever, and you commented underneath it like, yeah, that would be awesome. I think the more people that like do that and help them to notice that like I want to collab with them, then they'll be more likely to do one. So I think that'd be cool. Who is the former FLDS woman who interviews everyone? She left years ago. I don't know, Casey. I should look into that. I feel like I've met I've met a few people from the FLDS, but they, like I said, like I know them and I kind of have known about them my whole life, but I don't have that many connections, or I don't know a whole lot of people from them, or from there. Killian wrote this book called Escape, and OMG, that book is so good and hard to read at the same time. Yeah, I can imagine. That would be tough. Amanda and Cami speak from experience and education now. Those women are totally to thank for helping expose the order and ending abuse. It's happening. Yeah, I love that. Finally made it to alive. Well, welcome, Michaela. I'm glad you made it. I don't think Paul would ban marriages or people having children. It would be different for sure, but he wouldn't ban it. Yeah, see, Pumpkin Patch, that's what they think. So, yeah. Very possible. And yeah, I don't think they could because they're so focused on have as many kids as you can, like procreate. That's such a big adamant thing in the order that for him to just say stop, like no way. Like they give him that kind of power. If he wanted to make them all stop, he probably could. But I don't think that he would because so many people would question and like feel like that's so wrong because that's so against all of the teachings that they have in the order. So I feel like it would cause too many problems that he wouldn't try to. But I do think the order members give him that power that if he really wanted to, he probably could. Eskel, who's going to be the next prophet of the order when the leader, Brother Paul, passes into the Father? Okay, well, I think you mean just when he dies. That's where it is a little bit unsure because Amanda knows way more on this. I think you should ask her on that because it's pretty obvious that one of there's a certain family that the boys in that family are like the most likely to become the next leader. But it sounds kind of like that they're going to supposedly try to somewhat have 3 leaders after him. Because I think they're realizing that giving one person so much power, like it's probably not a good idea. So from what I understand, they're going to try to have the 3 people and they're like somewhat, because they always talk about how the order is a church, but it's also a business and it's also a, what do they call it, a family, I think. Like, because there's like the keys to the order, there's the leadership of the order, and there's the just the business side of the order, I guess, or whatever. So I think they're going to try to kind of split up the responsibilities into 3 different like groups, I guess, and have 3 different leaders. Maybe one will be like the main leader or whatever. I don't know exactly how it's going to work, but yeah, from what I hear from order members, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to delegate it between the 3 people, and of course all 3 of them are the sons of this family that's most likely to become the next leader. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, and most likely it's going to split off because every time there's been a new leader, there's been groups that have split off and like done their own thing or think that, oh, this person's really supposed to be the leader. So then a certain amount of the order group goes and follows them instead, and it kind of like splits off and stuff like that. That almost always happens. Let's see. That is polygamy. What love is this? Oh yeah, I've heard of that. I think I liked your comment on their video, LOL. Nice, thank you, Caitlin. Yeah, maybe Pumpkin Patch will know. Do you know more about the 3 leaders and stuff like that? Or who the next leader's supposed to be? Wish I could stay, but I'm in Yosemite. How can they afford to have so many kids? That's a good question, Sarah. I think being on welfare helps a lot, and the fact that just a lot of families live well below their means. So, and like everyone works. Everyone down to 14 years old, sometimes even younger. They all have jobs and they just do whatever they can to make it work. Doris wasn't FLDS. I think she is the order. LC, yeah, I think you're right. I heard of Doris being like one of the older ladies that have left. She wrote a book. Oh, I don't remember the name of it. Dang it. Did someone, I feel like someone commented it. Wasn't she the one that wrote Polygamy, What Love Is This? Yeah, I thought that was Doris. I'm going to double check on that though. Let's see. Are you allowed to have contact with siblings still in the order? I wish, Chrissy. I wish. I definitely. I miss my siblings that are still in the order all of the time. But the sad thing is that they hear so many bad things about me that I can't help but feel sometimes that they probably don't want to see me. It feels really sad saying it, but they've they've just heard so many bad things about me, and I feel like my dad probably talks really bad about me, and all they hear is the bad. That it's like every once in a while I will try to reach out and like, of course, like I'll go by the house or whatever and try to wiggle my way back into their lives. But it's so hard because my parents don't want me there. The kids don't understand what's going on. It's a mess. It's super hectic all the time, and I hate it. That's probably one of the biggest things that I hate having to deal with. Because if I didn't have family in the order anymore, it would be so easy to no longer try to see from their perspective, no longer like feel sort of like an attachment to the order. It'd be way easier to put it in the past, put it behind me, just like let it go. But the fact that I still have family there makes me feel much more obligated to try to do something about it. And it's just, I don't know, just to, what's the word? I don't know, to try to help, I guess. 3 people running it sounds an awful like the 5 families and the mafia. That's so true, Olivia. I still wish Amanda did the video on comparing the order to the mafia, because I feel like it would be kind of funny. There's just so many similarities. And I think the reason why is because just the way that they think, it's just so similar. It's just kind of crazy. I find that kind of fascinating because even though I don't like the mafia at all, it's super interesting to see of their tactics and see what they prioritize and what matters to them and why they're doing what they're doing. It's still kind of fascinating. They say they don't have a dad. Really? The day that they don't have a dad. Okay. Sorry I'm late, everyone. Welcome, Lulu. I'm glad you made it, though. We probably are getting pretty close to the end here, but thanks for joining. Hey, Lulu. Hey, Lulu. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I remember being on the podcast. What B is this? Oh, what love is this or something? Okay, yeah. That's true. Oh, speaking of, Amanda finally has a podcast out. I'm so bad. I should have remembered what it's called. But I think it's, if you go to Spotify and type in like Cold Cup of Coffee or Amanda Ray or something like that, then it should come up. And she's got already like 3 podcasts on it. So, and she's going to keep adding. Sarah says, that's sad. You're a beautiful human being, Eskel. What I meant was it's against the law to have so many wives. So they say they don't have a dad to claim welfare. That's true, yeah. That happens a lot for sure. Especially on Amanda, my sister's birth certificate says that her dad is this Kyle person. Hopefully when they get older and can make their own choices, they will want to see you. That would be cool. Has any more siblings been born since you left? Not of mine, but of course of like, which one? There's been a lot of my half siblings that have had kids and stuff. Let's see. They could never provide for all their kids if they didn't have welfare and making kids work from a young age. Yeah, that's very likely, Emma. Eskel, you should do the mafia comparison if Amanda doesn't. Yeah, I think that would be cool. We are the mafia. Okay. Eskel, you're a good, well-rounded young man. Cami and Amanda practically raised you. Yeah, it was kind of funny. Like, I feel like I looked up to my sisters a lot, and so I mean, I had 3 moms, you know, of like the sister wives, and then I did have 3 older sisters that were also like 3 moms to me. So I had a lot of support growing up. It was awesome. Oh yeah, the Culty Crew podcast. That's what it's called. Thank you, Caitlin. Thanks for helping me to remember. The Culty Crew podcast. If you look that up on Spotify, then you can see the podcast that Amanda's working on. They're really cool. Eskel, who is listed as your father? I don't think there's anyone on mine. I think there's an option to leave it blank because at least as far as I know, like I have my birth certificate and everything, and there's nothing for the dad. It only shows who the mom is. It doesn't say anything for the dad. So I don't know how that works, but at least on mine. But yeah. Dang. All right. Well, this has been fun, you guys. I probably should call it good. I just really want to talk about the new show on Netflix, Keep Sweet, Pray and Obey. I'm probably gonna watch more tonight because it was super interesting. I've only seen the first 2 episodes, I think. And yeah, it's been crazy so far. But it is super fascinating, and I feel like I just like doing the comparisons, seeing like how similar and how different it was from the order, just to come up with more ideas to kind of like share. And really, I feel like just a big goal is to, how do I say this? I don't want to feel like I'm like persuading order members to leave the order. It's not that at all. I just want them to feel like they have the option. Because I feel like the order is so good at eliminating all other options and creating this community within itself that doesn't have any outside influence. And it's like there's just so many tactics that's like perfect for trying to convince young people or to manipulate and make the young people feel like there's no other option. And it's the same as the FLDS. The FLDS is crazy good at this. They literally go to Short Creek and just away from outside civilization and just do all their own things, everything within their community, like completely avoid anything that has to do with outside stuff. And I hope that people will see the things that I discuss and see my videos and not take them as like, I don't know, I don't want it to look like I'm trying any way whatsoever to do the tactics that the order's doing, trying to like convince them that they should leave or like persuade them that I don't know, life is so great out here or anything like that, because it's hard. When I left, it was definitely a struggle, and no matter where you are, you're going to have struggles. The only thing is, I have had such an appreciation for being able to make the decisions and have my free agency and not feel like I'm living a fake life, or to question if I truly am choosing to live this lifestyle or if I feel obligated because of the religion that I'm in or the people that are around me or the way that I've been raised. I know that if I choose the path that I'm taking in my life, then it's because of that's what I chose and that's the person that I am. And I'm cultivating and developing the person who I want to be, and I'm not being persuaded or like, I do know to some degree, your environment affects who you are. And I totally understand that. And so we already are limited on what freedom we have and the choices that we make, that I'm like, why take away any more of that, I love and I appreciate being able to make the choices and to be the person that I want to be. And I'm so grateful for that. And I wish I could help people to see that. I wish I could kind of like take them out of that controlled environment that they're in, let them just see it from an outside perspective, to understand that it is a controlled environment, that they don't show the full picture, and then let them choose, if that's what they want or if they want something different. And I don't know. That's really what my goal is. But anyways, thank you guys so much. I'm just going to read the last of the comments and I'm probably going to call it good. Aw, thanks again, Denise. I love it. I think Denise is the one that donates every single time. You've been so nice. Rachel's here. Welcome, Rachel. You got her right before I ended it. Yeah, there's no dad on mine either. Really, Rachel? Okay, that's good to know. Eskel, who's listed as your father? Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I guess Rachel doesn't have one either. I wonder why they chose on Amanda's to just write something. Maybe they did it for like Cammie and Amanda, and then for Rachel and me, they decided to leave it blank. Because I bet when they put a name on it, it caused more problems. Because they tried to like reach out to those people and say, oh, you need to pay child support because this is your kid or whatever. Eskel, have any of your half siblings left since you left? Yeah, there's actually been a couple of them. Like Dylan. Dylan was one of my half siblings. It's kind of complicated what everything that's happening with him right now, but yeah, Dylan, there's been 4 from my mom's family. I think 4 from the first wife's family, and kind of sort of 1 from the last family. It's kind of debatable on that last one, but somewhat. So yeah, there's been 4 from the first 2 wives, and so they'll probably in the future will be 4 that leave from the last wife. No, just kidding. But I've always seen you and your sisters as a resource. I don't feel like y'all are trying to push anyone, just giving a safe haven. Exactly. That's what the goal is. So don't forget to like this live. Aw, thanks, Casey. Later, Eskel. See you, Russ. Thanks for joining. I think it's a huge statement that yes, you left, but you still decided to have a religion. So it's not like you just decided to run and not have any beliefs. I know it doesn't make sense what I'm saying. I think I kind of get it, Emma Word. I left the order, but I'm still, I would say I have at least some of the same moral beliefs as I did when I was in the order, because I like that. How do I describe this? Anyway, I get where you're coming, Emma Word. I know it's kind of hard to explain, but like, at least for me, what I love about it is that I know that it's my choice. You know, if I choose maybe not to smoke or not to live polygamy, or you know, whatever belief or moral system I have, what I choose to believe is right and the best way for me to live, I feel like I love that I get to make that choice, and I get to have my own belief system and reasoning for why I believe this way, rather than just because, you know, just because my dad told me to, or just because someone told me this or whatever, you know. Hey, I was here the whole time. Oh, thank you, Rachel. You just didn't comment till now, so I didn't know you were here, okay? But thanks for watching, Rachel. I'm so glad. That's awesome. I love having my siblings on here. It's so fun. And you guys, we all went through the same thing. I feel like you guys can add so much to the conversation as well. So thanks for being here, Rachel. I can't wait to go and visit you. It's going to be so fun. Zoe David, Eskel, should I choose to write 500 sentences or get a whipping from my dad? I don't know what you mean by that, Zoe, but I hope you don't get a whipping from your dad. See you later, Caitlin. No technical difficulties this week, at least. Yeah, you're right, Emma Wood. I'm so glad things worked out well. I took a little bit longer to go live than expected, but I'm just glad I didn't have my Wi-Fi go down. I didn't have my sound not working. Things are going a lot better. I'm getting better at this, you guys. I don't want to talk too soon, though, because maybe next week I'll have difficulties, but yeah, it's doing good. Rachel has been here the whole time. Oh, yeah, I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you guys. This has been so fun. I hope you all, any of you guys that do have good relationship with your father, I hope you guys have a great Father's Day. And any of you guys that don't, then I hope you guys find other ways to enjoy the day and maybe reach out to one of your siblings that you are close to and just make the most of it. And thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Hope you all have a great week. And I hope to see you all next week as well. So see ya.